Hey guys, and we are finally getting a new Mario Kart game after nearly 11 years. And please, please Nintendo, don't make us wait this long for a new Mario Kart again. But before we get started, I wanted to mention that I have a goal to hit 30,000 subscribers before the Switch 2 launches. So if you enjoy my content, consider subscribing, and if I hit that goal, I will give away a copy of the new Mario Kart game. But like I said, it's been a very long time since the release of Mario Kart 8, and we are only now getting a new game. To put that into perspective, when Mario Kart 8 first released on the Wii U, I just finished 4th grade. But now, I am old enough to drink in the United States as I recently turned 21. Yes, I know we have had other Mario Kart game releases since then. However, we haven't had a full new console Mario Kart game. Like, I know we got, like, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is just a port, and then also Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, which is a fun little thing, and then DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And then, I'm not purposefully forgetting about Mario Kart Tour. I actually quite like that game. It just seems disingenuous to call it the next big Mario Kart game after 8. And I see some people bringing up the fact that Nintendo considers it a big mainline title because they brought it up in the Booster Course Pass trailer, but the only reason why they showed it there is because there are Mario Kart Tour tracks in the Booster Course Pass. It only makes sense for them to show it off with the other games there. It still is a part of the series, despite being a mobile game. Like, and the thing is, I know Nintendo considers some mobile games to be mainlined in their respective series, like Super Mario Run, but I think Mario Kart Tour is in a slightly different boat since it has more free-to-play elements. Like, Super Mario Run is more of a traditional game that happens to be a mobile game, but Mario Kart Tour is more like Fire Emblem Heroes, which really isn't. I don't hear anyone calling that a mainline title, or Animal Crossing Pocket Camp as well, or even Pokemon Go. I know Pokemon Go is like a very extreme example, or Pikmin Bloom as well. I know those are very gimmicky mobile games that kind of do their own thing, where Mario Kart Tour still at least has Mario Kart gameplay, but I don't know. I just think Mario Kart Tour should be considered in the same realm as either the arcade games, or like Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, rather than with the main series. So, yeah, I just think it's a little weird that some people call it, like, the next big thing after 8. I really don't think it's Mario Kart 9 either. I know that's a discussion for a whole other video, but yeah, I really don't think this was, like, the next big Mario Kart game after 8. But now we're getting a new game. I really hope we don't have to wait another 10 to 11 years for the next big game after this. And I think the unfortunate thing about the Switch era is that we didn't get a brand new Mario Kart game because of how well that 8 Deluxe sold. With OG Mario Kart 8 players like myself getting stuck with the same game that we've already been playing. Like, it made so much sense why they re-released 8 Deluxe when the Switch first launched. They basically kind of had to because of how poorly the Wii U sold. I know Mario Kart 8 didn't sell terribly. It sold fine for the most part. It was actually the best-selling game on the Wii U, but that still wasn't great for Mario Kart standards, so it still made sense why they had to re-release it on the Switch and everything. But just with everything that happened surrounding 8 Deluxe, it just kind of was unfortunate for people who've already been playing 8. I think it was possible that we could have gotten a new Mario Kart game on the Switch, and it was probably in development early on in the Switch's lifespan, around 2018 to early 2020. But when the pandemic hit, the game sales for 8 Deluxe skyrocketed. I guess skyrocketed even more than they already were, because 8 Deluxe was selling pretty well. And game development around that time was becoming pretty difficult. So, the most profitable option for Nintendo was probably to continue selling 8 Deluxe. So that's probably why they continue to sell it. Like, I know a while ago I was saying, like, oh, if 8 Deluxe sold so well, why don't they just make another Mario Kart game on the Switch? But now looking back at the circumstances of it, it kind of makes sense why they stuck with 8 Deluxe. It was just the more profitable option for them with everything happening. I mean, I think the pandemic was definitely involved there, and then after the pandemic, it was at the point where they started development on the Switch 2 and didn't really bother making a new Mario Kart game because it probably wouldn't really matter that much. And it would probably sell better if it was on a newer console anyway, so they just did the Booster Course Pass instead, just to get even more sales out of 8 Deluxe, which probably didn't cost that much for them, since it's basically just content from Tour. So that's probably what happened there. It was just kind of unfortunate for people who've been playing Mario Kart 8 from the start. So yeah, just a series of both unfortunate and kind of fortunate with the sales of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that led to this game lasting so long. And hopefully, Mario Kart 9 won't have those same circumstances. Like, the Switch 2 is releasing in very different circumstances from the Switch 1. Like, hopefully we won't have to deal with something like the pandemic again. And there's also the fact that, the gaming industry is very different as well, so that could, affect things with Nintendo overall. So, yeah, under normal circumstances, the wait for a new Mario Kart game should only be about 5 to 6 years. Similar to the gap with new home console entries in the past, like Double Dash and Wii, or Wii and 8. Kind of similar to that. I think that gap is sustainable enough in this day and age with HD development. They could still make a very good Mario Kart game within that time. They probably developed the next Mario Kart game, Mario Kart 9, that we've seen so far, if it's called Mario Kart 9, in about, I'm guessing 5-ish years, I would say. That actually kind of makes sense. When I was mentioning before by, around the pandemic, they were considering what to do next. So, that really kind of makes sense, in this timeline, why this next Mario Kart game is releasing now. And, yeah, I think the reason why they should release Mario Kart games more frequently, or at least as frequently as they did in the past, because after a while, the mechanics of a specific Mario Kart game start to get a bit stale, and even only the slight changes in a new game can actually change quite a lot. And I'm not speaking for everyone, obviously. Some people are content with playing the same game, especially with mods and things. But just for me and many others, at some point, we just want to move on to the next game. It's I feel like that goes for any series, whether it be Splatoon, Paper Mario, Zelda, 2D or 3D Mario. It's just nice to have a new game after a while. And that definitely goes for Mario Kart as well. And there's also just so much content that a particular Mario Kart game can add. Because, it's amazing that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe added, the Booster Course Pass and everything. And I really enjoyed the Booster Course Pass despite some of its flaws. But at the same time, with the same mechanics and items and everything involved with 8 Deluxe, it still felt like 8 Deluxe. I mean, yeah, there were some slight changes there with how, the courses looked and felt, but it still was the same gameplay mechanics that we've been kind of dealing with for nearly a decade at that point. So it really didn't feel like anything completely new. Not anything that a new game would satisfy. So that is definitely a big reason why they should release Mario Kart games more frequently. And other popular multiplayer Nintendo series get somewhat frequent releases. Splatoon is a good example of this. Some people say that the Switch shouldn't have gotten 2 Splatoon games, but I can kind of see why. Splatoon has a very active community, and it kind of makes sense why they would do multiple games. I know they could just keep updating the same game, but a new game could add quite a lot. And I guess Splatoon 3 isn't the best example of it, because Splatoon 3 could have added a lot more, but at the same time, I do think it still is proof that, multiple multiplayer-focused games on the same console can work. And I would say an even better example, though this one is a more casual example, is Mario Party. Mario Party got 3 different games that all felt different, though had a lot of similarities at the same time on the Switch. And, I mean, well, Super Mario Party was, kind of meh. We got two excellent ones with Superstars and Jamboree. And each game sold really well. Each game having a bigger launch than the last. And even though Superstars didn't sell as well as Super, it still sold extremely well. And I'm sure Jamboree will sell pretty well too. It's basically continuing the momentum of Super Mario Party sales. And it's definitely doing pretty well. So I think that's how they should kind of handle Mario Kart going forward, rather than just sitting on the same game for a decade. Just make a new game to continue, to kind of boost the sales a little bit and continue the momentum. Because, I mean, after a while, the sales will kind of, slow down a little bit. And a new game will kind of, keep up that momentum and just, definitely keep things up a little more, I would say, than just sitting on the same game. I think they could still make even more profit that way. I think, like I said, I think Mario Kart 8 in 8 Deluxe was just kind of an anomaly. I think it was just due to the circumstances why that game lasted so long, not just because it sold so well, but also because of, the pandemic and various other circumstances and things. And also just, I mean, it selling well is, a very big component in that, but I don't think Nintendo will have to deal with something like that again, which is why I think they should make Mario Kart games more frequently. And also, another thing is that the gap between games is also more noticeable now because of the lack of a dedicated handheld. In the past we got things like Super Circuit, DS, or 7 that kind of filled the gap between home console entries. But now with the Switch, and now the Switch 2, we're only getting, one game, every once in a while, rather than, games on handheld. So there is a little bit of a gap there. And I know Tor was technically this generation's version of that. Even though I was kind of arguing that Tor wasn't really, a main big thing. We don't even have that now. I doubt Nintendo will do something like that again. Nintendo has been moving away from the mobile market recently and haven't really been doing anything else with that, lately. I really don't think they're gonna make another mobile Mario Kart game. That really wouldn't make that much sense. And Tor basically ended its updates and everything. So we won't have that during the Switch 2 era. So they will have to fill that gap eventually with a new Mario Kart game in about 5 to 6 years. But yeah, I just really hope that we won't have to wait too long for the next Mario Kart game. But I'm just glad that we're getting one, and I will be content for quite a while with this new one. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!